In the same speech that Winston Churchill warned us of the descending Iron Curtain, he said the following. He said, "The dark ages may return, the Stone Age may return on the gleaming wings of science. Beware, I say, time is plenty short. Do not let us take the course of allowing events to drift along until it's too late." And so it's now my pleasure to introduce one of the many brilliant scientists whose powerful intellect served America's defense in the dark days of the Second World War, who today shines a very bright light, like the laser he invented and pioneered, on America's continuing pursuit of peace and security. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1964 recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize for Physics, Dr. Charles Towns.
Thank you very much. Let's remember what President Eisenhower said, a broader perspective, in 1961. And he stated that the inability to secure a comprehensive test ban would have to be classified as the greatest disappointment of any administration, of any decade, of any time, and of any party. We are, of course, concerned about the safety of the United States and of the world. Ratifying this treaty is, in fact, the safest course.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light."
Here we are.
Up here at night.
When I met Charles Towns, I was so taken with his scientific accomplishments, I decided to make a film on him. Over the years, he became like a father to me and taught me how to live the right life. This is the story of how one man sought to understand our universe and ended up revolutionizing it.
Good afternoon. Stops for tinted windows. Can I see your driver license, please?
Yes,
Not allowed to
sir.
have any tint on these two windows.
I'm sorry, sir. It's difficult to access this. This is Charlie Towns, Nobel laureate, inventor of the laser and maser. I was just giving him a ride home from campus.
Okay.
I like to try to understand things. You know, that's a very great human drive, curiosity. What is this world here for? What's it doing? What makes it work? How does it work? It's like solving puzzles, but they're interesting puzzles in that once you find out something new in science, then it's a possession of everybody, and everybody else then builds on that. So you're not just solving some puzzle that everybody else has solved once and then you tear it apart and it has to be solved again. In science, you solve a puzzle, understand something new, and it's exhilarating, and it's everybody's property then, which everybody can use, so it's a permanent contribution. Many new ideas come forward that have really produced great surprises. For example, the maser and the laser really came out of a study of molecules and the interaction of molecules with microwaves or radio waves. Now, what did it do? It eventually produced a very bright light. Well, who would have said, let's find out a new way of producing a bright light by studying radio waves and molecules? Or a new surgical tool, for example. No one would have planned to produce a new surgical tool by hiring me to study molecules.
The laser today, in a sense, is a solution seeking a problem. It is here, but its real potential has not yet been realized. Its ultimate uses wait to be discovered.
For several years, there were lasers, nobody knew what to do with them. And our expert committee of people involved the White House had put together. Our report missed it completely.
When you sit down today and say what's the most important thing lasers have done, well, my answer is the internet. You wouldn't have the internet without lasers.
Dr. Evil, it's about the sharks. When you were frozen, they were put on the endangered species list. We tried to get some, but it would have taken months to clear up the red tape.
You know, I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
On a personal level, Charles was deeply devoted to God and family. He and his wife Frances were married for 73 years and they supported each other throughout.
If I die first, Charlie says he might find me when he comes along. I don't think so. I don't think so. It won't be the present me, I don't think.
Well, whatever we are, there's something about us that lasts long after our own lives. The things that we do affect a lot of other people, affect the world. Our lives live on for a long time, actually, in any case. Whether we are supernatural, that is, whether there's some spirit that stays up there somewhere, that's more questionable and debatable. But clearly, what we do can have an effect on the universe, can have an effect on the world, effect on other people for a long time. And I think lasers, for example, will.
Seems as if they're doing pretty well.
It's not just a single piece of work. It's not just with lasers. But then he went into astronomy and he discovered all these really exciting things in astronomy. And he's got this background that's very broad. And so he can go into these different fields and make exciting discoveries.
For his 99th birthday, the cities of Grenville, South Carolina, and Berkeley, California, named July 28th the Charles Hard Towns Day. This is some of the last footage I have of Charles before he passed away.
Well, Towns, there was no question he was an absolutely brilliant person.
You always felt that you were important when you were working with Charlie.
He was a very honest, he was a very sensitive, he was a very kind man.
Professor Towns is like the cliche of the Renaissance man, but I think he's in like the Leonardo da Vinci class of Renaissance man.
Charlie, to me, was in the very top rank of physicists.
Towns was a very interesting person because he not only was interested in lasers, he was interested in everything.
Towns really liked, birds, I think in particular, and botany too.
He was able to identify all the wildflowers by their Latin names.
Of course, he had his famous interest in music. You would hear him, singing hymns as he'd walk around the corridors of the building occasionally. I think Charlie wanted to understand the universe at a very deep level, and I think that connected in a way with his religious faith. It sounds a little bit weird because most of us are scientists are more or less atheists. We think of the universe as something that's outside of religion. But I think for Charlie, they were somehow connected. It really goes back to a different view of science, a kind of a pre-Darwinian view, in a sense, in which we're discovering God's handiwork when we study how nature works.
In a sense, everything comes from God. If this universe was created by God, then everything comes from Him. And it's a very unique universe, a very unique earth we're on, a very unique life we live. Really remarkable. Certainly suggests a creator and a planner. Do it all this way.
All we have in life, ultimately, are opinions. We can't prove anything. We look at this camera and you can just be illusions of some witch doctor. So nothing is provable, ultimately provable, because it just becomes an absurdity. And so all we have really are our beliefs. We have nothing but belief. Now, some beliefs are stronger than others, but those beliefs are all we have. To have only your own beliefs makes you an egomaniac. And so we strengthen that by accepting or building our value system, our lives, on the beliefs of others. And there's no one I can think of whose belief is more valuable to me than Charlie Towns's.